Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you could be here. This is a really important
Hi.
webinar, and I'm glad you're here today. And we have Darlene Edouard here from BRIC, and they have a lot of wonderful programming. So, for those of you who, if this is your first time visiting Autism in Entertainment, we are about increasing employment for people like you in the entertainment industry. We do that by trying to have diversity include neurodiversity as something that the entertainment companies are trying to achieve. We want people to recognize autism as a brand that has talent and skills and see you as positive assets to an organization. We want to make organizations know about the resources and tools out there to help them hire you. And then finally, we want to help you navigate your own career paths. And I think today's lesson from Darlene will be very helpful in that. So let me continue. Um, the way we fund ourselves is through membership. So if you're not a member, there are some exciting things that I'm going to tell you about. So I encourage you to become a member. You can just find a membership on our website. So this is what I wanted to tell Charlotte about. So we are starting a new members only activity, and that is called You Better Ask Paul. Paul Hemstreet is a seasoned veteran of Hollywood, having spent 24 years as an executive VP at Warner Brothers, where he was responsible for the DVD content. So he got to meet everybody who Warner Brothers put out a DVD. And he is a part of Autism in Entertainment. He's now an instructor at Exceptional Minds. And he's agreed to do a monthly mentoring session where we'll bring in educators and talent and have it be an open forum for you to ask your questions. And we're calling that You Better Ask Paul. The first one is going to be on July 7th. And for Charlotte, one, because of your enthusiasm for Mike, we invited Mike Young from Cabillion to be one of our first guests, as well as Andrew Ainsworth from Exceptional Minds. So we're really excited about this. This is only for our Autism and Entertainment members, so please be sure and join. Another thing that I wanted to share with you is our new talent book. Again, this is a benefit for Autism and Entertainment members. So the talent book gives you a way to share who you are with potential employers and with each other. And so for members, you can create your own profile. Let's do Matthew. And here you can share all the information about your hopes and wishes, your skill set, etc. And a few weeks ago, last month, we had President Curtis come and talk to us. And they will be looking in this talent book for potential interns. And Darlene, that is the end of my prepared comments. So I welcome you and so glad you could be here.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am going to share my screen so you can see my presentation. This presentation is about uh, BRIC Foundation's digital badges and how to use them. So my name is Dr. Darlene Edouard. I am the Director of Education for BRIC Foundation. BRIC is a nonprofit that works to increase underrepresented communities in the entertainment industry. That includes all sorts of folks from those who are veterans to justice impacted, those with neurodiversity, etc., and women. So coming to speak to all of you is right along line with all the things that BRIC stands for. As Director of Education, my job is to do things like this, give women webinars and talks to folks about all the things we offer. I oversee our digital badges program, as well as work with our high school partners to make sure our young people are also getting the information and knowledge they need to enter the entertainment industry. So, what is a BRIC Digital Badge? It is an industry skills certification that shows an earner, so whoever applies for it, that they have the ability to do the things their badge um, is saying to employers, recruiters, and professional developments. So BRIC has a number of different badges from audio to character design and posing. So what these badges signify and show is that if you've earned the badge, you are ready to enter the entertainment industry with the ability to create character designs and things like that. Um, so all of our badges are reviewed by industry recruiters, and they provide credible validation of job-ready skills that you can use on your professional profiles like LinkedIn, your personal websites, or even the site that Judith just shared with us on Autism in Entertainment. Uh, we have fundamental skills covered, like these character design and posing, life drawing and anatomy and perspective, as well as mood, color, and lighting. These are all foundational skills that artists need when they're entering the animation or game design field. And then we have some of our basic technical skills. So these are a wide range from audio to storyboarding, visual development, and concept art. And for those like me who are not artistically inclined, budgeting and scheduling. So I work in entertainment on the producer side. So I love me a good spreadsheet, budgeting and scheduling. So these are the badges that I would apply for because those are the sorts of jobs that I could do. If you ask me to draw, can't really do that. But if you ask me to make a budget on a spreadsheet, I can do that with with the best of them. We also have pre-apprenticeship badges. So our pre-apprenticeship badges are for those who are not quite ready to enter industry, but are advanced at the level they're at. So they still have a little bit more to go. They're still learning from their teachers or from their mentors, but they're way more advanced than just starting out. And we have 13 of those. So scheduling and budgeting, character design and posing are some of the pre-apprenticeship badges we have. Now, there's lots of benefits to having a digital badge on your professional portfolio. It shows a focus on skills. Our digital badges highlight the skills, new skills earned in an evolving workforce and enhance your personal brand, regardless of your education. So the great thing about our digital badges is that we don't ask you to upload your resume or your schooling or your background. It is based purely on the skill that you have. So you're the skill to design characters. Um, it is employer supported. It's created by over 60 industry professionals across leading entertainment and media companies and reviewed by real life recruiters and talent agents and managers. So folks who are still currently working in industry are the ones who will review your portfolio. It serves as a bridge to careers. They provide stronger matching for employers and clearer pathways for students. They're able to go through these badges, and our employers know that they have been vetted. If you've earned it, that they've been vetted and their portfolios have been reviewed by actual industry professionals. And it's verifiable. So each badge comes embedded with information about the issuing institution, BRIC Foundation, the date that it was earned, and the criteria are required to earn that credential. So they know that when you're submitting your portfolio for character design and posing, that everything that has on the grading rubric has been achieved. And it's shareable. So you can share it on LinkedIn, on your Facebook page, Instagram, personal portfolios. Um, it's not something that you have to constantly send out. You can post it on your public profiles. And it is finally backed by research. So the BRIC Digital Badges was developed with the California Department of Education and employers' competency standards. So we know that our BRIC Digital Badges, um, that what they're being graded on and what they're being reviewed on is based on what industry is currently looking for from students and from their entry level positions. So for example, one of our badges are aligned with California Department of Education's model curriculum standards. So the model curriculum standards is what our career technical education classrooms will guide their career pathways for. So for example, the design, visual, and media arts pathway for animation and visual effects. That focus area is animation and visual effects focus area emphasizes creative and technical skills in visual development, concept art, animation, and visual effects. They'll apply foundational principles of art, design, and visual storytelling while developing proficiency in two-dimensional animation, three-dimensional animation, and digital effects. Um, some of the recommended prerequisite courses are like level 1 and 2 courses for visual arts and media arts. Some of those course titles will have words like 2D animation, 3D animation, game design, or visual development, and a lot of occupational codes or jobs aligned to animation and visual effects from advertising and promotion managers, web developers, video game designers, art, drama, and music teachers, graphic designers, producers, and directors. Lots of different occupations you can get coming through this education pathway. So some of the animation and visual effects skill building competencies or base requirements to get this to be in this pathway are some things like art and design fundamentals. So applying principles of art designs to characters, props, and environments, life drawing, anatomy, and perspective, create anatomically and physiologically accurate bipedal or human and quadrupedal or animal forms for use in animation, apply a proportion, depth of field, anatomy, body mechanics, and facial expressions. So those are just some of the ones. There's about 9 of them. And then there's process and practice. So not only are you learning the basic skills, but then you're also learning how they apply in the careers. So things like production pipelines and department roles. So you look at, for this career pathway, production pipeline roles and responsibilities of each department, animation production. So animate scenes using keyframes, frame by frame techniques, motion capture, or procedural animation. So you're taking those fundamental skills you learned and how you're applying it into the job. Now, how does that map to our digital badges? It maps directly to how we decided to design our digital badges and how we're reviewing them. So, for example, some of those 17.1, like those skill building and career pathway building competencies we just looked at previously are directly related to the grading rubric. So for character design and posing, we look at volume, shapes, and dimensionality. So does the person submitting look at show an understanding of depth, volume, shape, language, composition in their designs? Quadruped, do they show examples of the quadruped animals, creatures, or anthropomorphic characters? Are they looking at color theory? Does the individual demonstrate an understanding of color sensibility as it pertains to the character's styling and design? So we map directly from the California Department of Education's standards of how they are using their career technical education, preparing students to enter the workforce. And we map that directly to how we are looking and grading our badges. And both of those, our rubrics, as well as the California Department of Education model curriculum standards, were all informed by industry. So we took industry professionals and got a bunch of them together to discuss what are the things that when you're looking for an entry level human to join your company, what are the things you're looking for when you're looking at character design and posing, when you're looking at layout and environment, when you're looking at prop and vehicle design. And those industry professionals are the ones who told us also what sorts of badges we needed to have. So we need to have a separate badge for character design, a separate badge for prop and vehicle design. We need a separate badge for layout and environment because all of those require different sets of skills. So all these industry professionals helped us come up with the types of badges we were using, helped us come up with the rubrics, and then helped us decide the work with California Department of Education to really come up with the basic skills and the standards that need entry-level humans needed to get into those entry-level jobs. And so these are some of the examples for character design and posing of some folks who submitted and were successful. So as we look at this one, this character's name is Lu Fang. We can see that she has given a different head variations, and we can really tell the story of who this character is. They are able to show through the movement and through the design. Ant was able to show us through the design and through the characters who they are as an artist, but also really give voice and character to this character design. And this is a separate person, Angeline Vu submitted. Very different style from the first one, but we can see that they did, in this bottom left corner, you can see they used a character turnaround, which is one of the requirements for the badge, is to show different sides of the character. Um, and even though she's got a couple different characters on this page, we can see what sort of artist she is and what sort of story she's telling because she submitted a portfolio that follows the same shape language. It follows the same visual storytelling. Another badge that we have that is also all of our badges are aligned, but another badge with some examples I want to show you is storyboarding. This is another one of our popular badges. I look at storyboarding as like comic books. So as comic books tell a story or graphic novels, like they tell stories and images one at a time, that is what a storyboard is supposed to do. Tell the story of whether it's an animation or a live action, one frame at a time, one picture at a time. So when we're looking at storyboarding, the things that our reviewers are looking at are fundamentals and terms, so they understand different terms and shots. So what's a wide shot, a medium shot, close up, extreme close up. They're looking at composition. So are they using rule of thirds and ability to avoid jump cuts? How to make sure that the pictures that they're showing for each of the frames isn't too chaotic. And that the camera moves in 180-degree rule. So understanding different shots when you're looking at the storyboard and that there's opening, framing, and acting. So um, different ways to establish the story through the storyboard. And that it's dynamic. So you're able to tell that a story is being told through the storyboard. And let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I don't know if there's sound. Let me see if it comes up. Here we go. Are you able to hear it?
A figure runs by. Over here. You dive down.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Aha! Some guards walk by. Looks like we have you cornered. She ducks behind something. Oh, see, boys. We pan up. I told you there was a snowman. Oh, wow. Such craftsmanship. Pan over. And she sneaks into a bush. She notices a lookout point. She runs over, reaches into her coat, pulls out a telescope. She looks through, and we see she's looking at a castle in the distance.
Okay. So we were able to see in that storyboard, you can do it and you can submit it in a couple of ways. You could submit it as this person did as an actual like frame by frame animation video that you can watch with some narration, or you can submit it as we've had people submit like a PowerPoint presentation where it's slide by slide is a different frame. Both are acceptable, but as long as they tell the story, right? So we can tell sort of where this story is going and what they wanted to say and mean when we're watching this video. Another one that is really popular is our visual development and concept art. So this really looks at the foundation. Does the person demonstrate foundational knowledge of character design, environment design, color design, perspective, and all while keeping it aligned? So are the characters, the background, and all the elements part of the same story? Are they all part of the same vision? Um, Style and ideation, do they show a unique point of view? Um, and the technical ability. So, do they have an understanding of different visual development techniques, such as grayscale to color, using 3D tools to assist in perspective, environmental breakdowns, character callouts, etc., and storytelling? Again, a very important part. Does this person show that through their submission, they're able to show a point of view and a story is being told? So for this person who submitted this profile, their submission is called Growing Pains. And so we're able to see from the left to right sort of the growing tension that is happening in their submission. So here they are. It's all grayscale. We're seeing just silhouettes. And this one right here in the bottom left, we're seeing this rule of thirds where the fist is in the right third. The two people in the middle are in the middle third, and the body's in the left third. And then we move to the color image, and it's much more vivid, and we're telling it's reached the epic point of what is happening. So it went from grayscale to color. We're seeing the anger in the face, the colors that is being used. We're still seeing the rules of third, where the guy on the left is in the middle third, in the sort of right third. The left third, we're looking at how the staff that the boy on the left is holding, it points directly to the fifth. So the fist. So we're seeing how all parts of the image lead to one another so that you are fully looking at the whole image and seeing the whole story. And every little piece matters, right? So in the back upper right third, we're seeing that the donuts are falling right here. We're seeing that the donuts are falling and seeing their faces in the back being surprised. So all of that part matters when we're doing concept art and visual art because it's telling a story. We're building the world. Another one, very different. And we're seeing right here on the top right, it's the beginning of it. We're not seeing a lot of detail. And then we're seeing much more detail in the second panel. And then in the third panel, we're seeing the humans enter into the scene. So we are able to see how the story is being told, how they're building that visual development, that concept of what is being seen in this story. So those are just some examples of portfolios that have been submitted for 3 different badges. Very many different visual styles, different ways that portfolios have been submitted. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what submission requirements look like for BRIC Digital Badges. So for the first one, we went through character design and posing. An earner who earns this credential demonstrates an ability and understanding of how to tell a story through characters. They're able to further the storytelling process by developing the look, personality, and feel of the characters. Character design and posing, you can submit for an apprenticeship or a pre-apprenticeship badge. And really the difference between the two, they are both graded with the same rubric. So that rubric we saw earlier, pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship badges are graded on the same rubric, but the amount of portfolio items submitted is different. So for the apprenticeship portfolio, you have to submit 2 to 3 character turnarounds, 6 points. So that is when we saw the face, the side of the face, the back of the head, the other side of the head. and one quadruped design. So one animal or one creature who moves on four legs. You can include a range of character body types and costuming and expressions for at least one character. So showing a mad face, a sad face, a surprised face. Um, and you can also add mouth charts. So what does the mouth look like when it's smiling, when it's sad, when it's yelling, when they're nervous? And then for our pre-apprenticeship portfolio requirements, if you remember, our pre-apprenticeship are for those who aren't ready to enter industry, but are on their way there. They're really excelling at their level, but not quite ready to enter and get a job quite yet. So for these badges, you design two characters demonstrating various variations in body type and costuming. And for at least one of those characters, you include a 4-point turnaround and at least a minimum of 4 expressions for at least one of the characters. So a little bit different in terms of what needs to be submitted. And again, so this is the rubric that uh, gets used for both of them. So whether you're submitting for pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship badges, you are submitting, the industry recruiter is going to be grading you on the same items. So whether you're doing apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship, all badges will be graded on the same rubric. Now, how do you build a portfolio? Tips and best practices. When you're submitting to a BRIC Digital Badge, what's the best way to do so? The first thing that a lot of folks don't pay attention to is really follow the instructions. Um, Oftentimes, I'm having to message folks in the system like, hey, you didn't submit your write-up. So some of the requirements, each of the badge requires a little bit different um, types of submissions. So for an audio badge, you're submitting audio files. For character design and posing, you're submitting JPEGs or a PDF or different file types. And so you have to make sure that you're paying attention to the details because the formats and file types matter because we might not be able to open it or access it. So with that, you need to make sure you update your share permissions. So oftentimes people submit with a link to their like a portfolio page. Um, Sometimes that's hidden behind like Google Drive. The permission isn't correct, so we aren't able to view it. Um, or it's behind a password and they didn't give us the password. And so we're not able to view that portfolio. And so that portfolio goes ungraded because we're not able to access it. The other important thing and feedback we often give folks who submit their portfolio is to make sure you tell your story. We want to get a sense of who you are and your current skills. So you want to show the reviewer what makes your perspective unique. So we all, as artists, have folks we are trying to emulate and styles that we like, which is wonderful. We all have artists that we love and want to draw and be like, but we also want to know what makes you unique, what makes you an individual, as an individual artist, special. And so you can do that through your artwork and through your portfolio. And the last thing that we want to make sure folks do is to study the grading rubric. All of them are free on our BRIC website. So if you go to bricfoundation.org/digital badges, you can go down the website and look at any of the badges you may be interested in, and the rubric is there for free. So you know that when you're going to hit that submit button, you have looked at the rubric carefully and make sure that you've hit all of the points. So for character design and posing, you're making sure like, oh, I forgot to add the mouth, the different mouth, what was it called? Mouth chart. You want to make sure you hit the mouth chart. Or you forgot to upload the expressions for at least one character. So you're making sure, double checking that your portfolio has all of the requirements. But that you're also reading the rubric. So do I think that my character design and posing really shows that I understand volume, shapes, and dimensionality. Um, yes or no? Maybe yes, maybe no. Um, and the other tip I have that isn't on here is talk to your mentor. Talk to your friends, your industry mentor, and get their feedback on your portfolio before you submit. Oftentimes, I know for me, when I get into doing something, I don't see the other things that I may be missing. And so getting a fresh set of eyes on your portfolio may help make sure that you've got all the pieces there. Um, And that is the end of my presentation. So I wanted to make sure to leave a lot of time for question and answer, but I do wanted to share that it is the end of the school year. So we're having a schools out sale, and wanted you to know that you can use the code AIE 2026 to receive 20% off all badges through August 31st if you're interested in applying for the badge. Um, so that means each of our apprenticeship badges is $40 with the discount. And if you're a teacher and you want to get digital badges for your classroom, you could email us for what a bulk pricing for classrooms look like. And that's it. So if you have questions, bricfoundation.org, our website is a wealth of information and knowledge, lots of information there. Or you can email us at contact@bricfoundation.org. And that is it.
Thanks so much, Darlene.
So I'm gonna
Do you
stop.
are you okay to take some questions
Yeah,
from the
of course.
audience?
Yeah, I am, of
Fantastic.
course.
All right, you can either raise your hand or put it in the chat. You can raise your physical hand or you can raise your virtual hand. It looks like Libby has a question. Okay, Libby, you can turn on your camera and turn off mute.
Hello.
Hi, Libby.
Sorry, my camera doesn't appear to be working, but I was just curious, because you said that the badges are shareable. If like, could you show us an example of what that might look like if a recruiter was, say, looking at your LinkedIn?
Yeah. Let me find an image of it on, I can share what it looks like. That's a great question. So you let me share this screen so I can show you the process of what that would look like. All right, so when you want to share your badge, this is what it looks like, the certificate through our badging system. And each badge has a unique URL, a unique web link to you as the earner, that will lead directly to this certificate. So what you do is you take that link and you go to LinkedIn, and you fill out this information, the name of the badge, the issuing organization is BRIC Foundation, and when you earned it, and then you paste the credential URL here. Um, and then you would add it. So it would look like this: mood, color, and lighting, BRIC Foundation, January 2024, whatever month, mood, color, lighting, the skills. And then this is what it would look like on your LinkedIn page. So under licenses and certification, it would say mood, color, and lighting badge from BRIC Foundation and the skills that you have.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Looks like Matthew has a question. Matthew, you want to take yourself off mute?
And I've got a question too, but I'll let Matthew go first.
Hello, my
Hi.
name is Matthew, and I tried to apply to a BRIC last year for the apprenticeship, but I was not accepted. But this year I'm trying to do that again, and I am hoping that um, if the requirements for the apprenticeship could work for my updated portfolio.
Yeah, I don't oversee our apprenticeship program. So that is a whole other thing. But what I would say is that we hold portfolio reviews once a month. I think our next one is coming up, maybe coming up soon. Um, or you can email us about getting a portfolio review to have someone help give feedback on your portfolio for the apprenticeship application.
Okay, thank you. Next, I see Charlotte, I hear you, but I see Christian's hand was up first, so we'll do Christian and then we'll do you. Is that's okay, Charlotte?
Sounds okay with me.
Okay, Christian.
Thank you, Doctor, for the presentation. My question is, does the BRC only work with just in the film and animation, or can it work like with just in different areas of licensing?
Um, So BRIC's digital badges cover skills like storyboard, like I mentioned, storyboarding, character design. And so they're widely accepted and understood in terms of like animation and film and media production because of the communities we work with and gaming as well. So we work with a lot of we've worked with a lot of gaming industries as well. So that's where our BRIC badges really strengths really lie. That doesn't mean other industries will or will not. I can't say whether other industries will or will not accept the badge as a credential because they may be unfamiliar with BRIC and BRIC standing in the entertainment industry.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hey, Charlotte, you want to thank you, Darlene. Charlotte.
How good does your artistry skills and your animation have to be in order to earn that badge? Does it need to be Hollywood quality good or any quality good?
That's a great question. It doesn't have to be. I myself cannot grade badge like animation and art because that is not my strength. So we have our, like I said, our industry recruiters who do that. But we have folks submit who are at all levels. Um, the more successful ones are those who are ready to enter industry. So not necessarily Hollywood level, but um, able to do independent work. And so what that looks like is that if you submit for a badge, and one of the things I didn't mention is that even if you don't pass your badge the first time, what makes BRIC Foundation badges really special is that you get to resubmit for free for up to a year. So if you don't get the badge the first time, you'll get really good feedback from our industry recruiters. And I go in and I check every badge to make sure our industry reviewers who are looking at the badges provide detailed feedback to the badges so that you know what you need to work on your portfolio to work on it so you can when you resubmit you have a better chance of earning that badge the second time you submit. And so um, you get 2 tries to submit for a badge.
Fantastic. Darlene, we have
It
a
may
question.
be a
Go ahead, Charlotte.
so after those 2 tries, what happens?
If you don't get it a second time, after you have tried, that's another great question. Then our suggestion is that you take your portfolio and you work with an mentor, with your teacher, or you attend one of our portfolio review sessions to really continue getting feedback on your portfolio so that you can help better it until you're ready to reapply again.
Not a bad idea. I think I'll give it a go.
That's wonderful, Charlotte.
Thanks, Charlotte. Just a question for you, Darlene.
Yeah.
The portfolio, do you know much about the portfolio review? Is there a fee? Do you sign up ahead of time? What do
Our
you know
portfolio
operationally
review
how that works?
sessions Our portfolio review sessions are free, free for folks. So you just have to sign up for our newsletter. If you go to bricfoundation.org, and you sign up for a newsletter, and our newsletter will let folks know when the next portfolio sessions are happening. That way you can sign up for them.
Fantastic. Uh, Robert had a question, and I believe he's back. He says, are there badges related to filmmaking and TV production? Could any of these be used to get a film director and TV showrunner job? And does BRIC offer training in the skills for badges?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we don't do live action. So we have a partner, Handy Foundation, who has an apprenticeship program in live action. Our badges are really for those who are really starting to get into the industry. So will it help you get a job as a director or a showrunner? It could, but our badges aren't qualifying you for those types of positions. So they're really for like the animation and not necessarily the overseeing production or as directing.
Sorry, like, yeah, pardon like the background noise. Like, I'm in like my fact day to day program. Like, I've been multitasking and like it's kind of hard, but like yeah, I didn't want to miss this workshop either. Yeah. So yeah, look,
It's okay.
yeah. So how do I put this? So Handy Foundation, like, it's basically like in our program, that's like this, except with like live action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you send a link, please?
Yeah, of course.
Please do so.
Thank you.
Also, I think since we have 15 minutes left, I think I'll just stay at before I have lunch. That's fine. Yeah. Hopefully my food level will be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks,
All right.
Robert.
Thanks. You're welcome.
I have a couple of questions myself, Darlene.
Yeah.
So what's the turnaround time when you submit for a badge?
It's 30 days. So our industry professionals have 30 days from submission to review your badges. So I check them submissions every Wednesday. So if you submit it Thursday, the industry professional won't know until the next Wednesday. But it's give or take 30 to 40 days is the timeline. Sometimes they come in sooner, sometimes they come in later. It really depends on the schedule of the industry reviewer and the schedule of BRIC. Like if it's a busy time of year for us, it might take a little longer. But like during the summer when it's not as busy, it may be a little faster.
Okay. And do you have any kind of samples of the response you get? Is it just no, or are there detailed explanations
No,
for
we
why
provide
someone might not?
we provide detailed explanations. So the email that goes back out, it says your grade has been posted. And then to go into the system, and then it tells you that your portfolio, if you don't get accepted, it goes in, you get an email that says your portfolio has been reopened for submission. And then you can go into the system, our digital badging system, and go to the section that says feedback, and it provides you detailed feedback like, this is a great start. I really think you need to work on the shape language, like really figuring out what sort of like a storyline, a through storyline to tell the story, and it gives different feedback based on the different depending on the badge and what's required.
Thank you. Are there any other questions out there? Let's see. I see Jacob has a question. Let me scroll down. Do any animated series or films have screenwriting productions that might require industry skills?
Yeah,
All
I mean
right.
all animation series and films have need one of these foundational skills. That's why when we worked with those 60 plus industry professionals, we really tried to figure out what are the basic technical skills folks need to enter industry. So another one that because you said screenwriting in the question. Another one of our badges is writing and storytelling. So we have a badge where you tell us a little, I don't have the requirements off the top of my head. But you submit for the writing and storytelling. So telling us a story. Let me see if I can find the requirements real fast for the writing and storytelling one. Writing and storytelling.
Hey, Darlene, while you're searching, I don't know if you can multitask, but I have a question. Have
Yeah.
you worked at all with like a Department of Rehab or in terms of whether they would help fund some badge submissions?
I have not had that conversation and no one has ever asked. So,
Okay, I think that might be an interesting one for us to see.
okay. Yeah. So for writing and storytelling, you submit a 1 to 2 page breakdown of an idea you want to pitch. It has to have a log line, story summary, and character breakdown, 1 page of complete dialogue, and 1 page breakdown of a character's arc from beginning to end, right? So those are all things you would need if you were pitching a story or pitching a script to somebody to want to make it. So that badge itself gives you some foundational skills on how to create and write stories to turn them into animations or into films. And so, again, all of our badges are these basic technical skills that if you want to enter industry, you will need to work on and have. And it's not to say that you need to know all of the things. And this is what I tell my teachers to tell their students is that you don't need to know all of the things. You don't need to be an expert in writing and storytelling, in storyboarding, in mood, color, and lighting, in character design. But you could be really good at one of the things and really focus on one of the things. And that is how you enter industry because you have spent time really developing your skills in the one area versus trying to do it all.
Thank you so much, Darlene. Any more questions for Darlene? Yes, Robert, I see your hand.
I have like two more questions. I saw Handy Foundation had a production coordinator program, and how helpful would that be for getting a directing and producing job? And there's a story editor program, and I think it could help with getting a TV showrunner job. Is that right? And can I take two tracks at once with Handy Foundation? And I have another question after that. Yeah, can I submit like the scripts I wrote for a contest this year to like the BRIC Foundation's like screenwriting track? Because like I get scripts that got made me a runner up in like a screenwriting contest this year with more like a result to be determined. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great questions. I don't oversee Handy Foundation's programs, so that would be a matter of contacting Handy Foundation and checking with them because they're a completely separate organization from us. In terms of submitting for the writing and storytelling badge, you can totally submit your script. But what you would have to do is make sure you follow the instructions on the writing and storytelling badge. So making sure that you're doing the 1 or 2 page breakdown, 1 page, just 1 page of dialogue and 1 page breakdown. So you want to make sure you're not just submitting the script, but you're following the instructions because that is also part of the badge is that you know that you're able to submit what has been asked of you.
Yeah, and
So like,
now that I know about them, Robert, we'll work with Darlene on reaching out to the Handy Foundation and have a similar webinar. Stuart, you have a question, and Robert, you want to put yourself on mute because I know you're in a noisy place.
yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Hey, Stuart, what's your question for Darlene?
I just had a question regarding voice acting and if the same principles of providing a portfolio apply.
I actually don't know anything about voice acting. So in terms of animation, we are not we don't work on the casting side. So that includes the voice acting. We're on the artist side. So I actually don't know what a voice acting portfolio would look like.
Okay.
That's a great question.
Oh, but I do. You have to put in voice acting for previous films or television or even video games in one audio file. And you submit it on your web and they listen to it and see if your audio voice actor.
Yeah,
You went
got
mute.
it.
Charlotte, if you want to put a link in the chat, that might be useful for Stuart. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Darlene, why don't we start wrapping up here? Can you tell us about the best way for this group of people to participate with BRIC? You talked a bit about the badge. We spent a lot of time on that, but any other suggestions about the other services that you offer? You mentioned portfolio review, etc., but we'd love to learn more about you.
Yeah, so we have lots of things. Sign up for the newsletter. If you're based in California, we have lots of events by us and our partners that happen in California. So getting on the newsletter gets you the most information. It goes out about once a month about the happenings within the industry and of our partners and friends at BRIC, whether it's in person or virtual things. The other really great thing is our virtual speaker series. So if you go to bricfoundation.org, there is a section, and I will find the link right now, towards our virtual speaker series, which leads to our YouTube site, which is really great because all of our content lives on our website. So when we have our talent and education days where we do a bunch of virtual content or our virtual speaker series. All of that content goes and lives on our YouTube site. Let me see if, no, that's my Instagram. Here we go, our YouTube site. And I will put that in the chat right now. So you can actually see a ton of different content that BRIC has done on our website, whether it's wanting to know about different career pathways, such as marketing, or live concerts and festivals, like how those work. All of that lives on our YouTube for free to share. So that is another great resource to have for folks to be able to watch and see. But yeah, so lots of things, but the best way to be up to date of ways to get involved is through our newsletter.
Well, thanks so much, Darlene. And thank you all for being here with us today and learning about BRIC and their wonderful badge program. And we will follow up with Darlene to see how we can work closer together. And finally, see about contacting the Handy Foundation, because as we open this present, it's like one of those presents inside the present. So thank you so much, Darlene. It was a great presentation. We really appreciate you.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day. Hi from everyone from Texas. Hi.
Bye.
Later. All right, bye. Have a good day.